what do you think separates you two from anyone else who's been in this business, who's kind of struggling to get their first deal done, maybe having, maybe they're just, they're in a valley right now in their business. What do you think separates, what's the difference between you guys and those people?
I feel like this is something we discussed the other night too. We have like our weekly Jacksonville group call too, and a lot of people are having that issue with no traction. And I think something that we do a bit different is we're actually trying to help people.
Welcome to another episode of the Wholesale Elite Podcast. I am Isham and I'm joined by my dude, Tanner Santucci. What up, bro?
Let's get it, bro.
JAX Boys are in the house. Let's go.
What's up, y'all?
So for those who don't know, Matthew Schwenk and Remy, how do you say your last name, bro?
Rheault.
Okay,
Rheault.
I know him as Remy. Matt and Remy are the JAX Boys, and this is a super special podcast for Tanner and I. I think I could speak for Tanner in this instance where I'm honored to have these guys on. We were there at the beginnings of their business, and to see what they've done in such a short amount of time. I think you guys are going to be blown away to kind of hear their story, hear how they connected, and hear what they've done so far. And so, boys, before we jump in, fellas, I should say, before we jump in, give us your biggest month so far.
Remy, what's the biggest month?
I feel like this month is the biggest month so far.
How much have you guys done so far?
We would have to check, bro. It doesn't come to top of mind.
Hey, that's a good thing. That means that there's plenty of zeros.
Well, outside of this month, what was your biggest month?
Yeah, I would say like we're steady above that 30 mark, and we're always got like we've got I think somewhere around 50 something probably sitting in the pipeline to close here shortly. So
incredible.
We're trying to crack that 50 code every month right now.
Let's go.
Now for the listener, for the audience, these two gentlemen are fairly new into this business, and it's just the two of them. They don't have a big team or anything like that. And so consistently crushing, 30K, 40K in assignments a month is a life changer, and so I can't wait. I really, really can't wait, because I know there's going to be so many people who are going to benefit from this podcast. And guys, we are blessed to have y'all on. And so Matt Schwenk and Remy, you guys are in Jacksonville. I think this is our second time interviewing two people at once. So this is going to be a little interesting, but we definitely need to break down, some of the backstory. And the reason why I went with the income first is because I want people to know who they're listening to. You know what I mean? I want people to know from the very beginning that, okay, these are someone we should pay attention to, because they're newer and they're, I can say newer, and they're crushing it. And so, guys, let's jump right in. Matt, I'm going to start with you. I mean, we're going to kind of individually dissect you guys. Tell me about your backstory, man. What was family life growing up? Where are you from? What's your story?
And so I grew up in Hanford, California, which is a small town of maybe like 30,000 people, at least when I was growing up. So very agriculture and farm life was really what is it about. So my initial years growing up, man, I would say like I kind of grew up in the hood for a little bit. My dad was away for a few years, and at around 6 is when kind of things changed, and we ended up moving to the north side of town. I started going to a little bit better quality schools. I would say financially, like we were always on like that, middle class, lower middle class income. So I was never hungry, put it that way. But but yeah, I had two parents for the most part. For the majority of my life, still do. Thank God they're married. So yeah, man, I grew up in a small town living. And
you got siblings?
I have one brother. Yeah, one brother. He's living out in San Diego, where I was at prior to moving here. So, but we never lived in the same house. So we're 19 years apart. So
Wow.
for the most part, I grew up relatively, a single kid in the home.
Got you. So
So
he's the older brother.
yeah, he's the older brother. He's actually jumped into the game now, so he's
Hey,
he's following suit, which is kind of cool.
that's awesome.
But
That's awesome.
but yeah, man, grew up small town living for the most part, and was playing sports most of the time. Playing baseball, play a little bit of football. Started getting into martial arts a little bit later into my life. So yeah, man.
So, okay. So with sports, this is in high school, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I mean, I started baseball when I was like 6 years old, t-ball, and then played all throughout high school, played first year into college, and then the wheels fell off at that point in time. I think just in general in my life. So not only from sports, but just kind of went down, um, a road of finding myself and, creating the mental toughness that it takes to be a
For
man,
sure.
well, at least from my shoes, you know what I mean? My
For
point of
sure. Now, you guys live in Jacksonville, so but you're from Hanford, California. Talk to me about that transition. That's across the country. How'd you get to
Yeah, man.
Florida?
Well, I would say like from Hanford, I went off to college when I was 18 years old. I went up to the Bay Area, lived in Redwood City, went to Menlo Park was a college I went to. It was just kind of a private business college out there that had a baseball program. So I played my first year there. After a couple of years living up in the Bay, I ended up coming back to the Central Valley, moved back to Fresno. So I went to Fresno State for a bit. I ended up, like I said, the wheels had like gone completely off at that point in time. So I wasn't very focused in college. I was a bit lost, to be honest with you, and ended up dropping out to my I think it was my junior year in college. At that point in time, I will say I was in a business management program and with a focus on entrepreneurship. So I'd always had that kind of like drive for independence, like creating my own environment. I love working with people. Don't get me wrong, but I always had a problem with like authority, being told what to do. It's got to be this way.
Sure, sure.
I try to think very much outside of the box. So but yeah, man, I ended up having a bit of a rough time, and my brother was in San Diego at the time, so I ended up moving out to San Diego, and that's kind of like when the martial arts really like entered my life in my early 20s, and I spent a few years out there. I was in a long-term relationship that brought me to Florida.
I
So
see. I see.
yep,
Did you say
so
martial arts?
yeah,
Just kind
man,
of threw
yep.
that one in
So
there.
yeah, so I started off doing like some boxing. I was obsessed with like MMA from a pretty young age. I remember seeing it like on the Blockbuster like racks. I don't know if anybody remembers Blockbuster, but
Oh
it
yeah.
was like a brick and mortar store that that slang or rented out videos, movies, all that good
Watching
stuff.
the old
So
UFC fights. Those were great. By the
yeah,
way, for all of you youngsters that don't know, back in the day, you would go to Blockbuster and get a UFC fight, and it was crazy. I mean, there were essentially no rules. You would have, a 120-pound Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy fighting a sumo wrestler for no time, and it was wild back in the day. And so, yeah, I can
yeah.
relate to that. I remember those
I remember
days.
seeing like this big tall white dude. He was fighting some giant like fat dude. I can't remember, and he ended up getting like dropping to his knee, and then I just see him friggin' front kick him right in his mouth, and
I
just
remember that
he
one.
goes on
It
like,
was
holy
brutal.
shit, this is awesome. So yeah, I know. So yeah, man, martial arts still part of my life today. I've done Muay Thai, boxing. Now I'm just doing primarily jiu-jitsu. So I've been steadying that
Love it.
grind for past 4 years, 5 years or so. But
Love
yeah, I
it.
started martial arts later on, probably like 19, 20-ish, somewhere around that area.
Love it. Love it. What
Yeah.
belt are you at in jiu-jitsu?
Purple belt. Yeah.
Respect.
Yep.
That's
Purple
awesome, man.
belt. So 4 years in, I didn't realize like when I first got into martial arts, I trained at an MMA school. I don't know if it's Team Quest, which was, I don't know for you martial arts fans out there, but one of the goats of MMA, Dan Henderson, like
Oh yeah.
for whatever reason, I think I was playing poker in Oceanside, and ended up meeting a dude that trained at that gym, and we started chopping it up about that. Next thing you know, I'm in like the MMA gym, like training and on the pursuit to getting my head punched in for a living, and just
Nice.
being in MMA. So, but yeah, all that training without the gi does not qualify. You have to train in the gi in order to be like qualified in that belt system. So, been doing it for quite a bit of years, man. I love it. It's a beautiful thing.
I see. Absolutely. Yeah. We'll talk more offline about jiu-jitsu. That's a world that I'm very familiar with and enjoy it as well. So, dude, okay. So you've made your way now to Florida, and what was work life like prior to real estate? What were you doing for a living?
Yeah, man. So in 2014, I had jumped into the like manufacturer's rep business. So, I mean, it kind of, I got my feet wet in the sales and being in front of people and that type of environment, selling people in person, selling building materials. So we were selling door hardware, like high-end door hardware, faucetry, cabinet hardware, closets, you name it. And then typically, like the market we were selling into was for rehabs, high-end rehabs or new construction. So that's kind of where I got my feet wet in the business world and started my own rep agency when I moved out to Jacksonville back in the end of 2016. So I had been doing that up until recently. I think back in January, about when Remy and I ended up partnering up, is when I scaled all the way out of that and turned this into a full-time pursuit.
Now that's the perfect segue, because Remy, we're coming at you now, bro. I want to hear your story, man. Remy, you to me are fascinating, my man. Not that you're not, Matt. Matt, you and I will definitely have beers and hang. But Remy, I'm so curious to know about you, my man. What's your story, bro? Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from a small city, smaller city, real tight knit, Manchester, New Hampshire. So all the way up north, very small city. Everywhere you go, you know somebody. And yeah, that's where I'm from. Lived there all my life until I moved out here. A couple months back, I moved down to near Daytona about 8 months ago. From there, and then just came out to Jacksonville about what 3 weeks ago, maybe.
So, cool. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking, bro?
I turned 19 in January.
Let's go.
Bro, God, my man's not even old enough to drink yet, and he's got enough money to whip a Bentley right now. This is crazy. Remy, that's phenomenal, bro. Okay, so you recently moved here. Did you do anything prior to real estate?
I mean, yeah, not really working too much. Kind of just have my own, hustles and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can tell by the look on your face you're not wanting to go too deep into that, but it's all good. We can put two and two together.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were in the flip business. I get it.
Yeah, in the flip business always.
That's incredible, man.
Now, yeah, I did a little bit of landscape as well. I did that, more towards my old, I guess like 16, 17 years old. I did a little bit of landscape. I like the business aspect of everything, always being my own boss and the independency, but the work, like the work for the amount of money just didn't add up.
Didn't line up, bro. So how did you find out about real estate, like investing and wholesaling specifically?
Honestly, bro, it just kind of came through like some videos on my phone, YouTube, just some Jerry Norton started popping up. At first I started to look into, that Shopify stuff, like drop shipping, Amazon FBA stuff.
Sure.
And then wholesale started popping up. And then, I just started watching more videos on that. And it got me interested, bro. The thing that hooked me, but I was very optimistic, was they said you can make $10,000 with no money, pretty much no license. You don't really need much, and you could get a check for $10,000. So it hooked me, but I was very optimistic about that. So I had to start doing
What
some
made you
research.
move from New Hampshire down to Florida?
Yeah, bro. So I got in a lot of trouble back home. Just around the wrong crowds, I guess you could say. Um, and I just needed a fresh start, bro. I wanted to get away from all that stuff, and there's just no opportunity there, bro. It felt like, something was holding me back, and just being around all the bad stuff kind of makes you, as much as you don't want to be in it, it kind of drags you into it. And seeing it's
Sure.
such a small city, bro, it's hard to kind of avoid that stuff. So I just had to, just kind of up and left last minute. Me and my brother were like, hey, we're moving to Florida, and we left like 30 days later, and
That's awesome.
just went.
Now, how did you two meet?
Through Astro.
Yeah, through Astro.
I mean, I think we were in on a call one day, and I had hit some people up in the chat just saying, hey, if you're in the Jacksonville area, here's my number, hit me up. And Remy was one of three. I think Isham that day was the day we first talked too.
Awesome.
And then there was one other cat, I forget his name, but yeah, Remy and I just started chopping it up, man. And we had come from like similar backgrounds, similar experiences in life, and just, yeah, I mean, we're both on the same vibe, man, at the end of the day. And we both are, we like to say, like, we're dogs out here. So, and we embrace the grind of this business. We love it. It's fun, but we're just both on that same wavelength. Like,
Right.
there's no other option, this is what we're going after. So
I love it.
and I
it.
knew he has the gifts. I mean, you hang out around him a bit and you'll get it. So I was focusing on the act side, especially after going to the mastermind and getting with Jamil and kind of getting a clear, concise game plan. And he was focusing on the disco end of things. So it kind of like perfectly fit, yin and yang, to be honest with you. So
I see. Now, Remy, I know you said you moved to, I think it was Daytona. Were you at Daytona at the time, or were you already in Jacksonville when you guys decided to link up?
Yeah, I was down in Daytona, and kind of just started talking through the phone, pretty much over the phone, social medias and stuff. And I actually came out. We met first time at a Brooker Road, that big blue beast.
well,
I remember that bad boy.
So I drove out here, and yeah, Tanner, you know about that.
Yeah,
still hasn't closed yet, by the way.
that's a good one. No, I'm just well, I'll just jump in real quick. First of all, I want to say kudos to both of you. You guys are awesome. And so the other thing I want to say is it's a learning lesson, I think, for a lot of people. And I'm actually battling with this myself right now. So this is why I think this is a good episode for me, having you guys on and listening, because I love the fact that Remy, specifically, you knew that where you were at in life and the people you're around and all that kind of stuff, there wasn't anywhere to go. And you were willing to take that chance and move, I'll say halfway across the country, even though it's not, but essentially halfway across the country for a new start. And then in a short span of time, because you were willing to take that action and just start fresh, look what happened. You guys meet, you guys connect, you guys are making $50,000 a month, and you guys are killing it. And so I had to jump in because I'm battling with that right now. So I greatly appreciate that, Remy. And the fact that you're so young and you're hustling in the business, and Schwenk over here is a dog, like he was saying. And so when you get two dogs like you two together, magical things happen, and it's freaking sweet to be a part of that and at least listen to you guys talk about it. So sorry, Isham, didn't mean to butt in.
You guys to think about that for sure. We appreciate both of y'all. You, like you said, you guys were on really the forefront of us getting in this business. Like I remember talking to you guys often. I mean, we still talk, but you were the guys that I trusted that I could call every day and get, no filter, no bullshit. I can ask a question and you guys give it to me straight. You know what I mean? Or if I had a question, just spit in game, teach me how. You guys had no problem with with schooling me a bit. And I know he had the same experience, so we appreciate you for sure.
Thank you guys. Big time.
Bro, I mean, this is incredible just to have you guys on the podcast now. We always say at the end of the podcast, we want you in the seat. So go out there, hustle, and get it done. And you guys have gone out there and hustled, and you're getting it done, and you're just getting started. We're all kind of just getting started for the most part. So this is incredible. But guys, let's dive into some valuable content, because I really want the audience to know, your mindset and how you guys got to where you're at right now. And so what's been your single biggest deal to date so far?
In terms of price?
In terms of acquisition dollar amount.
Listen, man, if I'm honest, Brooker Road that's still in there is the biggest one.
Well, no. Hugh Edwards. I mean,
well, it's 37. I mean, if you look at it overall, it's 37 and a half, like 37.5 is that one. But yeah, Hugh Edwards, which we was talking about, that's the first deal we actually closed together. So.
And what was that dollar amount for that one?
The second one was 20. The first one, Brooker Road, 37.5.
Wow. Okay. Incredible. Now, what do you think separates you two from anyone else who's been in this business, who's kind of struggling to get their first deal done, maybe having, maybe they're just, they're in a valley right now in their business. What do you think separates, what's the difference between you guys and those people?
I feel like this is something we discussed the other night too. We have like our weekly Jacksonville group call too. And a lot of people are having, that issue with no traction. And I think something that we do a bit different is we're actually trying to help people. We're not hungry for the money. We're not, hungry to, get the next check. Of course, money is good and it feels nice to get a big check. But when you truly try to find, the reason behind what I guess the issue is, and you try to solve that issue, bro, that it's just a whole different outlook on the business and in general, as just people. There's a lot of people that are hungry for that money, and we see it all the time, and they can't just I guess help people correctly. They're just looking at things a lot different. So if you just unwind a little bit, what we've done, and just try to help people out of the messed up situations they're in, it pays forward.
Yeah, we see it all the time. People step over a dollar bill to pick up 3 quarters. It's unfortunate, but I'm so glad you said that. I really am. Zig Ziglar said, and it's a very famous quote. He said, "You help enough people get what they want, and you'll get everything that you want." And that's exactly what you just said, Remy. And if I'm gonna, I guess, pat our own selves on the back, Tanner and I, that's what we did with you guys. When we were looking to grow our business, we poured into others, because we all, a rising tide rises all ships. And so just to come at this with the attitude and the mindset of scarcity, not a good thing. It really isn't. You want to come into this with the mindset of abundance. And so how did you guys acquire this abundance mindset?
Man, I feel like since a young age, I can't tell you like when, where, or how, but I've always kind of viewed the world through rose-colored glasses. You know what I mean? Like there's always opportunity. Like there's never. I remember actually like in 6th grade, we had somebody come in and talk about the word scarcity and what it meant, and that kind of really opened my eyes. Like there's no such thing, as scarcity in my mind. I don't even. We were talking about this last night with some folks on that call. It's like one of the questions was, do you see like the market shrinking a bit? And in my mind, like, bro, that doesn't even cross our mind.
Right.
Like, I don't care, because at the end of the day, I see, so many people, everybody needs a home at the end of the day, right? So therefore, how could there be scarcity if every single human being needs a roof over their head, and you live in the city and you can drive down the street and see a house? I mean, who's to say that your neighbor across the street or your neighbor next to you doesn't need help and is in a shit situation and they need you to go help them. And in doing so, you transact a house. Like, I mean, there's just, you got to think positive, or else you're going to have a rough time at whatever you do in life. If you just look at stuff based off of, what if the problem is X? It's like, okay, no, you're a problem solver, right? And there's many people in the world that need problem solving. You just happen to be in the business of, real estate investing. So
Right.
it's just, the life is beautiful, man. I mean, really, life is beautiful, and if you keep a positive mindset and you don't let. I mean, we were feeling we had some little like weird vibes going on the past couple of days where we both were like, man, we're just maybe feeling a little flat, or stuff just doesn't seem as rosy as it was a few days ago when we were flying high after closing a few deals.
Sure.
But if you can just learn to like work through the emotions and not let it control you, and just have that dog in you, like keep yourself focused, like what the hell are you doing every day and why, and just keep, as Jamil would say, keep pressing that button, like you keep working towards your why, and inevitably you're going to have those highs and lows, and that's just what it is, man. I mean, you've got to enjoy yourself at the end of the day. You gotta wake up and tell yourself, man, thank God I'm alive today. I can breathe here. I've got a family, or whatever your situation is, man. You can be sleeping on the freaking corner. Guess what? You still have the opportunity to get your ass up and make something of your life and help everybody that's in front of you, dog. Really.
So true. So true. Tanner, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, that's a thing that I think a lot of people have false expectations on. And when you're talking about the ups and downs, especially of this business, but of entrepreneurship in general, everyone thinks it's a steady increase the whole time. But everyone that's an entrepreneur and that runs a business and everything, every day is like this. There are times where you close a deal and you may still have other stuff in the pipeline, but your energy's down. Things feel flat. It feels like the business isn't moving in the direction that you want it to. And you're constantly maneuvering. And so I think having that already in the back of your mind, like, hey, today or whatever, I'm not going to be my best, but I'm still going to push forward. And that's what creates that upward motion. And so how do you guys deal with adversity, or how do you guys deal with failure? Do you look at it differently than everyone else? Like, what's your guys' maybe a tactic or something in regards to adversity?
Yeah.
How do you guys essentially keep going up, right? Even on the days you're down?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, bro, you look at every situation and you just find a lesson in it, and just know that all the hard times, you look back and say, okay, I've been through these hard times before. You just keep on going. You know that there's, sun at the end, it's rainbows at the end of the tunnel, or whatever they say, man.
Yeah.
It's you just find a lesson in any hard time. And even, bro, having a partner, like when your energy's off, bro, I talk to him. I vent to him all the time, bro. And likewise, and having, a partner helps big time. But I think just looking at it a bit different and trying to find the lesson in the hard time is life-changing, honestly, bro.
We're going to talk about partnership stuff in a minute, because I think that partnerships in real estate are one of the most important, impactful things that anyone can do in their business. And it also can be one of the quickest ways to kind of sink your ship, if you don't do it correctly. So we'll definitely go into that. But I want to ask you, Remy, real quick, because Matt, you seem like a natural optimist. Maybe it was just the way your parents, brought you up and the environment that you were raised in. Remy, are you the same, or did you have to work on building that optimism mindset?
Honestly, bro, I feel like just through experiences, going through a lot of, I guess, hard stuff, at least I learned to, find a lesson in everything. And experiences, bro, honestly, just through time. And even though I'm so young, bro, I feel like I had the worst years behind me, and all those times made me who I am today. And yeah, just the experiences, I'm very grateful for everything, that I've been through and had to go through to become who I am today. And, it's helped my life greatly. So.
Now this is a wild analogy, but I want to go in deeper on that, Remy, because I appreciate that answer, but I want to dig in a little bit deeper, because here's the thing. Like I said, this is a wild analogy. Let's look at a criminal, right? There's two different people that come out of prison. There's people that come out of prison, they say, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to, you know what I mean? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to put my foot on the gas. I'm going to be the next Jay-Z, you know, or whoever it is. And I say Jay-Z just because of the criminal past. Now look at where he's at. You know what I mean? And then there's the other person that kind of slides back into it, or maybe has more of that victim mentality over that victor mentality. If you weren't a natural optimist and you had a challenging time growing up, what do you think separated you from the other people who are still living that lifestyle?
I mean, I feel like my why is big enough to make me, you know, keep on going. Cause I mean, bro, exactly what you said. To be completely honest with you, bro, I went to, you know, YDC. I went to the youth. Like I was in the cell, bro. Like 4 days after my birthday, I went. You know, I got caught up selling weed, having, you know, not, you know, stuff I shouldn't have had on me, stuff like that. So literally, bro, 4 days after I turned 16 years old, cops came into my house and took me away, bro. And I was there for about 7 months, almost till I was 17. And that was really the turning point in my life, bro. You know, because, you know, you just see stuff get serious, bro. And, you know, when I first came home from there too, my mind was set on, you know, doing a lot better. But then, like I said, being in that environment, bro, I started to get back into it. I started to, you know, sell weed again and this, that, and the third, because I was around it.
Right.
And then I just, you know, kept seeing, you know, all my friends, all the people around me start to go to jail, you know, get shot, you know, this, that, the third. And I was just like, it's not it anymore, you know, watching your back wherever you had to go and all that stuff, bro. It's just, you know, that was big enough to say, you know, like I'm done with this stuff. I need to go. And I just had to go, bro. We just
incredible
packed it up and left. And bro, those hard times just, man, it's amazing, bro. Life is
Let me ask you guys, what do you think is a unique skill that you possess, and how does it benefit you in your real estate business?
I think, and share yours as well, but I think, you know, being authentic, bro, like just being ourselves, you know, separates us a bit. In every situation, bro, meetups, you know, talking to you guys, wherever it is, whoever it is, we just keep it authentic and we just be ourselves, you know. We're not going to change for anybody or act any certain way. We're going to be ourselves regardless. And I think people respect and connect to us more.
Okay.
When we keep it authentic.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
so Remy, for you, it's more like a self-awareness is probably your you know, unique skill that's helping you. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I would say that's similarly like just learning to be comfortable in your own skin, and at the end of the day, like the consistency part and just the genuine like willingness to want to help people. Like, well, we're just like above and beyond transparent to people,
right?
That we're doing business with, and sometimes it will, when people are getting to know you, they're kind of thrown off, like what the hell, like why are y'all being so transparent? Like something's got to be up, right? But then they go through a transaction with you, or they just, you know, get to know you over time, and they're like, whoa, like let's continue doing business, or you become friends or whatever. So I would just see being okay with being completely transparent yourself, and just, we look to help people, man, and we stay consistent. Just, you know, no matter how we're feeling, we get up and we get after it, bro.
That's huge for the audience. I mean, I feel like, especially in our industry, I feel like a lot of people need to hear that. It's okay to be transparent. It's okay to be honest. Because that's where our industry kind of gets skewed from in a lot of people's eyes, right? And so, and that's why you win. It's funny how that works. People that are honest themselves and transparent and will communicate a problem even though they don't want to communicate it. It's funny how those people are the ones that win big in this business. So
you'd be surprised at how easy it is to get from the start of a transaction to the end of the transaction by just everybody being on the same page and like communicating truth to each other. What do you think about that? Like, what do you know, bro? Just like
Weird. Yeah.
tell it like it is. Oh, okay. Because then you can problem solve. There's no like hiding of stuff. Like, it's
100%.
mind blowing. But a lot of industries I think are that way. And I will say one thing about the real estate industry, like the openness of information and knowledge, at least from my perspective, coming into Astro, like right off the rip, and being in the real estate investing community, even here in JAX, like with some of the OGs that are here, people are just openly sharing information. And in my last industry, boy, it was the complete opposite. And so I can appreciate that, to the fullest, man. It's fucking beautiful. Excuse
I
my
love it.
French, but it is.
Well,
I love it, man. I really do. I love everything you guys are saying, and I'm so glad that we're getting this out there to other people. I'm telling you, this is going to be a very impactful. I keep looking down because I've got a ton of notes that I'm writing down. I mean, literally, like just note after note. What you focus on grows. Remy, you had mentioned, just kind of staying in the game and really keeping your why, as your North Star, and just focusing on that. And truly, anything that you focus on grows. And so most of you guys that are listening and watching know that. But just, now that you know that, put that into action, put that into business, get focused, and stay there. And so that's crazy. Business has seasons, the ups and the downs. It's normal. You would never be able to recognize a good day if you had all good days. It takes a bad day to recognize a good day. You can't fly without gravity. There's these constant, ebbs and flows in life that you just got to learn to roll with and know that it's part of the process, and it'll never stop. You'll never stop having, one of these days when I get to here, I make this much money, life will be good. No. Life will not be good until you get it in between your head that life's already good, and then the money will come.
Yeah.
So that's incredible, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to ask you guys before we dive into partnerships, because I promise we're going to get there. If you guys don't mind, and I'll start with mine because I always think it's fair to if I'm going to ask something hard, I'll throw mine out there first. I want to ask you what you guys' why is, right? So think about that for a second. I'll share mine. When I first got into real estate, before real estate, when I learned about real estate, I really wanted to get into development because growing up where I grew up at, the guys that were building these big skyscrapers and these big projects over on the water, and I'm this poor kid on the other side of the track, kind of, sort of. I wanted to do that, and so I just had no clue how. I mean, no clue how. It's like looking at the moon, being like, I want to go there one day, and then you don't know anything. And so that was me. So my why has been for years and years and years to get to that point of real estate, which is why Tanner and I pivoted from doing properties to doing land. It was a big pivot. It was tough. We're on an island for the most part, but that was our why, and we stayed focused and committed to it. What is you guys' why?
At the end of the day, man, for me, there's a ton of whys, but if I had to point it back to like helping people, I would say changing the trajectory and the future for my family and those around me. I feel like my family has a lot of that, like they're just okay with being a bit average or less than average, or there's some sort of excuse as to, well, there's a reason why you're being held back, or why you can't do this, why you can't do that.
Sure.
To get that shit out of the consciousness of my family.
Awesome.
And to be able to get them into a mindset of abundance. Absolutely. And to be in a beautiful business that is a necessity of life, and really change the history of the Schwenk family, of the Rheault family, and everybody we touch. I mean, that's what it is.
It's powerful, and, brother.
That's straight up helping the world, man.
That's powerful, brother. Remy, I have a feeling that you're going to say something similar, but I'll let you swing away.
Yeah, bro. I mean, there's a bunch, but I guess the main couple would be, I mean, family. Just changing the bloodline, like he said. Making sure no one has that. I mean, nothing wrong with having a job or anything, but not that employee mindset of, oh, you can't make this amount of money. You can't do this, that, the third. You need to be someone special to do so. Like, bro, we're just regular dudes, so. I want to change, that in the bloodline for sure. And with that, I'm trying to have like 10 kids, bro.
Yeah, boy.
You trying to Nick Cannon it out there? Or you trying to have 10 different kids with the same one? Always happens.
Yeah, but like family, bloodline, and all that stuff. And then, another big one of my whys is, just inspiring people back home or people of, all people, but people of like similar backgrounds. And that's why it goes back heavy for us on, being authentic. Because if you don't share your story and understand, like, bro, I'm a regular dude. I came from probably very similar stories to a lot of these people who think they can't do it because of who they used to be or who they are now. Like, bro, I just want to be proof of concept of, bro, you could go from this to all the way up there in a matter of a month, a year, couple months, whatever it may be. I just want to be proof and inspire a lot of people back home. Because I remember too, everybody wants to get rich, have all this money and just be successful. But, back home, nobody has someone to look up to or really any proof of concept of, okay, here's where I can start, or this is someone I can reach out to. So I want to be, someone people could, I guess, go to and be like, okay, he's doing it, so I can. That's a big thing for me. Right. I want to, change a lot with people back home. So.
Incredible. In Manchester, if you're listening, your boy's doing it. Like, let's go. You got to share this to everyone in Manchester. Shout out to Manchester, New Hampshire. Remy is doing it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and let's get you guys on the team as well. So, guys. Yeah. So right now you are in a home. Tell us about what's going on in the background for anyone who's not watching.
Casa de Real Estate is fun. That's where we're at.
Right. Is this the office?
This is the office, and
where's my Jax pad for now. Kind of got it. It was kind of just plopped in our lap. Agent pretty much brought it to us.
Relationships.
Yeah, relationships, bro. And the thing is, with this one, it was, we were JVing on the deal, and we really stood out to the agent because we had to renegotiate on it. And, they just declined it. And the wholesaler who was direct on it is just like, we had to cancel. And we're like, what are you talking about?
We don't cancel, bro.
We don't. We went to war about it, bro. We did everything and we got it done. And she loved that. So she pretty much plotted another one in our lap. She's like, hey, I got this house. Cash offer.
I need help.
Yeah, I need help. Like, it's falling out of contract. Can you come save the day? Cash offer was too low. Picked it up subject to. And that was the first for us. And made it our office and our living quarters as well. So it's pretty much 2 for 1. And it's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's a crazy tax write-off. So the house that you guys are in right now, it's the office, it's everything. You guys got this house sub 2.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Wow.
This goes back to helping folks out, man, and being honest. Like that agent had the confidence enough to be like, damn, this is gonna be the 3rd failed contract. Like, this is my friend that's in, I'm doing business with. Like, and the first thing that clicked in her mind is to contact us because she knew that we would be able to get it done, to perform. And even though we couldn't transact how we normally did, man, she was an outside the box thinker too. So even though that was our first sub 2, like, we got with a lawyer that could help us build the contract correctly, and we got it done. So that's another lesson to y'all out there. If you don't know how to do it, No, start finding out, start asking questions, get with folks who can help you get the answers, because people do want to help you. So,
Yeah.
and
Who,
you
not
got to
how,
start
right?
somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll talk.
I forget who wrote the book, but Who Not How is exactly what you're talking about. When you guys get stuck, or if you're stuck in I hate to say you guys, like, I'm on this mountaintop, but when we're stuck in our businesses, it's, the default of our brain is typically, how do we get out of this? But if we can train that monkey mind to think about who do we need to talk to? Who do we need to align ourselves with to get out of this? That's where the magic happens. 100%.
Amen.
Dude. All right, let's talk partnerships. Tanner and I are in a partnership. You guys are in partnerships. Partnerships to me in real estate just makes sense. You know what I mean? This business is a relationship business for sure. And I've heard, and I've been in past partnerships before with previous industry, like completely out of real estate, and they didn't work, and I'm sure a lot of it was on me, in my lack of vetting, my lack of understanding what to look for in a partner, and things of that nature. Typically what'll happen is people that are stoked about the same thing decide that, you and I should just work together and do this. And then those guys get together, and then they start to realize that, we probably should have looked into this a little bit further. And so when it comes to partnerships in real estate, why don't you guys tell us, maybe let's start with some of the challenges. Let's start with some of the things that maybe you guys didn't think about going into it, or maybe you did, but you were able to talk it out and discuss. And so what are some of the challenges in having a real estate partner right now?
I had to think about this one.
Yeah, for me, I think a challenge, I guess, for us both, generally speaking, and we talk with people about this all the time, is like, we are very good at creating chaos, like we find ways to get shit done. We get out there, we want to stir up business, and keeping, I guess, continually trying to build that foundation. We're really just cracking off on this thing since January. For me, it was like October, but October, November was, a couple deals done, but really like going 100% January. So we still got to keep that in mind, even though we've got quite a few deals that we've done this far, to build that foundation before kind of leveling up.
Right.
So
perfect.
We're definitely going at this, but we need to keep, building that foundation to be able to support that chaos that we create. So I would say that's probably one of our biggest challenges, is that we're both, chaos creators, and we kind of have to, switch gears a little bit and be able to make sure that everything is in order, make sure that it can support all that stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's us two at this point. We have other people that, we work with and whatnot, but it's just us two, doing this shit right, because it means so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We talked to Luke Rottful, one of the Viking bros, and he and his partner have been, they've done everything together for the past, I think like a decade or something. And, but they were best friends coming into this. They knew each other. They kind of had that benefit of knowing each other's temperaments and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And they were saying to this day, they've never really had like any kind of a falling out. And so I don't think that's necessary, and I'm glad that you answered it the way you did. And I could tell that Remy was stuck, because he's like, we don't really have challenges, we're good. Like I'd really have to think about what that challenge is. And, yes, you guys are newer in your partnership. But I'm assuming or guessing that maybe you guys have kind of opposing skills or interests, but similar goals and ideas. And I think that really helps in real estate, because Tanner and I, we're vastly different in a lot of areas. Tanner handles the dispo like you, Remy, and I handle the acquisition side, like you, Matt. And so there's that natural kind of split. But then once you get in and you need to make decisions and whatnot, that's when you really kind of understand your partner's value systems and whatnot. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys grow, because you guys are obviously extremely compatible. You work well together. You're doing all the right things. I mean, you guys really are. Tanner and I talk offline all the time about how, I don't want to say how proud we are, but we see you guys doing all the right things. You know, when everyone was getting caught up in the whole social media thing, you know, you got to post 1 billion times and this and that. You got to make a name for yourself. You guys are just consistently, hey, we're in JAX. Hey, we're in JAX. Hey, we're in JAX. And you guys were getting deals. Everyone else is trying to figure out how to do the video and how to trick the algorithm. And they were wasting time. You know, they really were, in my opinion. They were wasting time, and they could have been spending it on their business, trying to gain influence and trying to gain attention and eyeballs, where you guys are just consistent. Hey guys, we're doing deals. Hey guys, we're here in JAX, just constantly reminding people. And so I love what you guys do. I'd love to be a fly on the wall, you know, in the REI is Fun crib for the day, just to hear the conversations and hear how you guys work together, because you clearly do work very well together. And so, guys, my hat's off to you for all you've done.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I want to stick on partnerships a little bit and ask you guys, what would be your advice to anyone who's considering, you know, locking arms with another, either an Astro student or a Sub-2 student or TTP or you know, any that, even if you're not in that world, what's your advice for someone who's considering a new partner?
Honestly, bro, I would just say, honestly, our partnership kind of came natural. Like, we didn't go out looking for a partner. It kind of just came to us. And I feel like that's a big thing. You aren't supposed to force things, especially a partnership. Because I think maybe that's when things go wrong. But if you just let things be natural, how they're supposed to be, I think stuff just plays out. So as far as like vetting people, I mean, it was kind of like a neutral feeling I felt when I met him. Like, we were just both dogs and just good conversations and stuff. And I was like, my gut was just telling me, hey, this is my partner. We need to lock in. And, you know, kind of just everything happens for a reason. And that's with everything in life. So I think if you just stick to that, it'll play out. But that might not answer your question, but that's how
good.
my outlook is on partnerships.
Have you guys found that you have opposing strengths and weaknesses yet?
Yeah. One thing I'll point out is that sometimes in the negotiation process, I do get very empathetic for the people I'm negotiating against, whereas Remy can turn that off a little bit. So I will.
Tanner can do that too. I'm like, Tanner, dude, let's give him a little break. Tanner's like, no, I don't need a break. Yeah, like I totally get where he's coming from. So
let's go, Remy.
Yep.
But
yeah, I would say, and then he's more of like the talkative one. So when we go out to houses and stuff, he's always the one connecting on a personal level with the sellers, you know, pretty much becoming their best friend. Whereas I'm more of like the quiet one, just hanging out, enjoying the conversation. But he's more of like, you know, that sort of empathetic person, which is amazing. And then I'm just, when I need to, I'm straightforward on the negotiations. So I think that feeds off each other and makes
guys, that's so important. I mean, I hope that you guys are picking up on the subtle nuances of what they're saying, you know, because you don't want to have the same strengths and weaknesses in a partnership. You don't, because you're going to end up clashing. Someone's going to need to have the better idea. You know, someone's going to need to be the one who gets it done or whatever. But when you can recognize that you guys are both different and actually respect that the other person's gift is not what your gift is and vice versa, that's what creates a beautiful partnership. I mean, it really is. It really is. Yeah. And so, you know, I mean, you're 19, bro, and you're recognizing that. That's powerful. It just lets me know you've had a lot of life experiences, you know, up to this point. But those are very, very wise words. You know, you guys are both, it's not like one has good ethics and the other doesn't, and that makes you, no. You know, there's certain things that you want to be aligned with, but then there's other skill sets and things that it's good to have, opposition on. And then but the most important part is to recognize that. And that's where I feel a lot of people suffer in partnerships is they can't admit that the other person is good in this one thing. They're almost like, I want to be good at that one thing too. Yeah. It's like, no, it's okay. We each have our thing. Like Remy, you could be like, man, you see Schwenk, talking, you're at the appointment, you see him chatting away, becoming the best friend. You could be like, I want to be the best friend too. So you come over and start chatting it up, and that's not you. That's not your natural gift. Where you your lane to stay in, you know what I mean? And then, the opposite for Matt. So this is good stuff.
I would say, man, on that point, it's like, and you're going to have a partner, you can't have an ego, whatsoever. I mean, you guys really got to be aligned and make sure that the mission, of course, there can be differences in your whys overall, but you guys got to be on the same wavelength. And if there's any ego, especially if you deal with personality types like he and I think that would only cause friction. Like we would just butt heads if we were acting in that way. Like, well, I got to be, I want to be that guy, or I want to be in that position. Like, you just gotta have no ego, man. At the end of the day, you're in you gotta be coming from a place of love, Well,
I think that's why the same wavelength. That's important because you're like me and Isham have this talk all the time where we put the company above us. The last thing me and Isham give a shit about is our names being the brand. Yeah. Like we don't care. I want Unwind Investments to be the brand. I would love for the company to have the name and no one know who the owners or founders are. I could give two shits about the credibility of that as long as the company. And so that's why it's important. And I'm agreeing with you on this is when you're looking for a partner, you may have someone in mind that you kind of JV with and do business with, and maybe want to tie the knot. That's why it's so important to have that same wavelength. Because if one person cares more about their personal brand than a company brand, that's not someone you want to be in business with, because ultimately down the road, it's going to cause friction. And so when you can find two people that align, like you were saying, with the same values and morals and ethics and all that fun stuff, that's where the real magic's made. And again, little things can be different. Like Isham pointed out, like you guys pointed out, where you guys negotiate a little different than one another. But that comes in handy because not every seller is the same. Not every buyer is the same. And so it's good to feed off of that. And so for those that are potentially looking to partner up with someone, make sure you're on the same wavelength and make sure your end goal doesn't have to be exactly similar, but make sure you guys want whatever that is to be going in the same direction, because you do not want to be veering off down the road. That's where nightmares are made.
I think a lot about, like dating advice, right? Like where parents will say, you need to go to this place to find you a good girl, or go here to find a good guy, and this and that. And it's like the relationships that you kind of, if you look back and you kind of observe and pay attention to stuff, the relationships that last are ones that just kind of naturally evolved. They weren't, this person wasn't looking for love. This person was content with who they were and was ready to take on the world. They just happened to find another person who was also like that they gelled with. And so instead of, oh man, like real estate's really hard right now, I really need to find a partner, someone to hold me accountable, someone that I can just, get excitement from when I'm down and stuff like that. If you go into looking for a partnership with that mindset, I could see Remy shaking his head. It ain't going to work. It's not. Tanner and I found each other on a deal. We were literally, he hit me up looking to bring a buyer to one of my deals, and just talking to him over the phone, I could tell, because I was honestly trying to get him to do something that was a little unethical. The area that our first deal was in, it wasn't zoned short-term rentals. And he really wanted a short-term rental for his buyer. And I'm trying to tell him, bro, I know this area. It's like in my backyard. Like, I know it doesn't matter. No one's going to report. Tanner's like, nope. He would not send that to his buyer because it wasn't zoned, and we could have made a ton of money right away, right? But he had good ethics, and that's what I liked about him. He did what was right for his buyer, and so, man, we just started talking more and more, and then over time, we quote unquote dated. And I always say, date your partner. Don't join an LLC right away. Date them for a while, do some deals with them, understand their shortcomings, their strengths and their weaknesses, you know, and then pop the question and put a ring on it. So it's incredible, Remy, that you had that insight already, that you said, look, it just happened over time. We didn't try and force it, you know. So guys, we're way longer than what we normally go, but I felt that this one was very, very necessary. And I'm so honored for your time. I do have a couple questions in closing that I like to kind of end with, just the fun little bangers. And I'm going to ask you guys separate questions. That way I can, you know, you won't be able to prepare while the other one's answering. Remy, I'm going to start with you. What is your superpower?
A superpower.
Yeah.
Superpower. Let's see.
What's that thing that you're just so much better at than everyone else in the world for the most part? What's that thing that you know about you that is really going to help take you through? I know, right? For your partner, it's always seems like, man, I can answer this in a heartbeat. I love it. I love it.
I don't know, bro.
Why don't you help him out, Matt?
Yeah, Matt, answer that.
Yeah, I would say his wisdom and the way in which he views life. He views it like years and years and years beyond where he's at right now, which is pretty fascinating. Like, I just think about the hell I had to go through to, you know, get to that point and to be able to, you know, understand the world. And this at 19, he gets it. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal. So
thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's such a good response from a partner, because it would have been awkward if you would have said that, Remy. I'm really wise. I got a lot of wisdom, but it's obvious. I mean, I've referred to that multiple times, not even knowing that that's your superpower, but I could just tell from you know, yeah, that's incredible. So I kind of want to ask Remy to you know, tell us what he thinks Matt's superpower is. You know what? Let's do it.
That's a good idea. I think we should definitely do
that. What would you say his superpower is?
Bro, this guy knows how to just touch people's hearts, bro. Like, honestly, no matter where we are, what we're doing, he just always does something good. Like, it could be the randomest thing, bro. Like, oftentimes we'll be driving down the street, there's a turtle on the road, he'll pull over, hop out, help the turtle, but true story.
Softy, I love it.
Matt.
Literally though, bro, he just has an amazing heart, bro, and just helps and touches people's hearts in ways that not every person can. And I feel like when somebody needs to hear something, like he's talking straight to their soul. Like, it's just that connection. And bro, it's like a superpower, like you said. Honestly, bro,
appreciate you, Doug.
Have sellers crying on the shoulder and stuff, bro. Like, true stories, bro. It's a superpower for sure.
It's amazing how quick you both can answer that for each other rather than thinking about what you want to say. It's funny how that works.
No kidding. Oh, that's amazing. I got chicken skin. I would show it in the camera, but I for real have chills right now. That's amazing. Guys, I'm not even going to ask another question. I mean, let's wrap it at that. That was phenomenal. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I mean, you guys are, if we had more people like you in the real estate community, a year from now, the whole dynamic would change. People would no longer think of wholesalers as being bad. You know, you guys are honest. You're transparent. You know, we always say in our company, the truth is good enough. It really is. The truth is good enough because we're not doing anything bad. So there's no reason to lie about anything. The truth is good enough. That whole question of, you know, do I tell them I'm a wholesaler? I love getting that because I love telling people the truth is good enough. For real. You want to work with people that you can be honest with. And so that's incredible, guys. Like, thank you so much. The world needs more gentlemen like you. We need more savages like Matt, who's a purple belt and will pick up a turtle, you know, and cross the road and be there to hug his brother when he needs him and be there to provide for his family. You know, to me, that's a real man. That's a real man, not someone who's tough and tries to act like a hard ass all the time. You, my friend, or you exemplify the definition of a real man. So I want to give you your flowers while you're here, man. And then Remy, come on, bro. I can't wait to see what you do with your life. You know, we've got a guy on our team, Retta, who is very similar to you. You know, in the hustle, in the wisdom. I think you got a little more life experience on Retta, so you're a little more ahead of the game. But man, it's just a blessing to see where you guys are at right now, and I can't wait to have you guys back on another episode. You know, 6 months, a year down the line. Hopefully, I can catch you guys, and you're not going to be, you know, cruising around your yachts and doing crazy stuff. But man,
you know where we come from, bro.
Yeah, that's one thing we always talked about, bro. We're never too busy. Never.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, gentlemen, let's talk about how people can get in touch with y'all. I think we beat to death that y'all are in Jacksonville. How can people do deals with the JAX Bros?
Give us a call.
Call us, email us, text us. Don't hit me on Messenger because I'm trash at getting on Messenger and checking my messages.
Same.
So, but I'll be on my phone. You can hit me at 559-362-2031 or Matthew with 2 T's at REISFUN.com.
My email is the same, REMY@REISFUN.com. My phone number is 603-858-9959. Guys want to do deals, talk business, just talk about life experiences, bro, hit us up. We love having.
We them boys.
Hey, Dem JAX Boys. Y'all, and follow them on social too. Their social game's tight. They will remind you that they are in the area. And so I love these guys. I'm so honored that we were able to get you guys on the show. Thank you guys for carving out the time to do this, because I know you're ready to get back to doing deals. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh man, guys, this has been incredible. Tanner, anything in parting before we split?
Nah, you guys are rock stars. You guys are awesome. I actually look forward to whenever we get to talk on the phone. It's always delightful getting to talk to you guys and catch up and talk deals and just talk business and talk life. So
love you guys. Cool. Appreciate you.
Love absolutely, man.
Likewise, bro. Guys, look, that's a wrap for this episode. We want you. We want to see you in the seat right there where Matt and Remy are. So guys, get out there, crush it, make it happen. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Wholesale Elite Podcast. Until then, peace.
Let's go.
What up, Elite fan? That's a wrap for today's episode. But look, if you got value out of the show today, do us a huge favor and give us a review or give us a like or subscribe. Do all the things to help us get the word out there. And look, we want to see you on the next show. So get out there and crush it, make it happen. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace.